In Garmin Connect, the training load is split into two different ones. The first one is the acute load, and then we also have the load ratio. Now, why are there two different ones? So first of all, the acute load is absolute. We can see these values, and if they are increasing, as for me in the last month, then this is potentially good, unless the acute load is way above the area which would be the optimal range. So one could actually say, if it is in the optimal range, then it is optimal. And if it's outside of this, as for me a couple of times in the last month, then it's suboptimal. Now, only suboptimal in terms of outside of this range, because, well, suboptimal actually would be below the optimal range in this case. Now, if we switch back now to the load ratio, then why does the load ratio stay the same? Now, the answer to this is that the load ratio is an ever-ongoing calculation. So we divide basically an average value for the load, let's say the last 4 weeks, I think it is based on the last 4 weeks, and we divide the current load through this load ratio, which has accumulated over the last couple of weeks, which means that we have actually the first derivative of this graph here. And so if the derivative is above 1, then the graph is increasing. If it is 1, then 1 is staying basically. And so the optimal range is defined as 0.8, so slightly decreasing, to 1.5, and apparently 1.5 is the maximum amount of increase but the body seems to be able to handle, which is the reason then why Garmin decided that 1.5, an increase in 1.5 in the at least load ratio, it's not an increase, it's the load ratio. The load ratio already is the first derivative, and so an increase of, not an increase, but a derivative of 1.5, which is an incline in 1.5, seems to be the highest one is able to bear.